During World War II, a strategy used as part of America's battle against Japan saw troops deployed to small islands in the Pacific Ocean. They would collect supplies, group together, plan attacks, or simply use as a base to move on to the next island. This strategy, known in the military as leapfrogging, occasionally saw American servicemen and women encounter primitive, tribal, indigenous inhabitants of these islands. In many cases, the tribespeople of these islands had never come in contact with modern civilization. The soldiers, in exchange for disrupting their way of life, would share supplies of food, clothing, and tools. And cargo was often left when the military moved on. Visitors to these islands, decades after the war, have found whole civilizations, tribes, and cults performing rituals, burning makeshift effigies of World War II aircraft, and joining in worship in hope that the strange people from the sky will one day return. Is this the default behaviour of humans when we encounter something we don't understand? Could the mainstream religions that have persisted to this day have come about in the same way? Is it plausible that our ancestors had been visited millennia ago and our history shaped by beings much more advanced than we are?
It was huge. It was on two legs. It was bipedal.
Some UFOs flying through the air are real.
Loch Ness, on which the eyes surrounded that the Great Pyramid was built with a level of technological sophistication far in excess of anything that we have today.
Dude, I know what you're thinking, all right, okay, but this is why the podcast is called Hear Me Out, right? It's sometimes we talk about wacky ideas.
This is a wacky idea. I'm glad you said it first. First of all, can I say congratulations on that monologue? That was a real piece of art, mate.
Thank you, buddy.
It was a shining example of an intro monologue. So congrats.
Cheers, man.
But who praises a wicker plane? That was. Do you know what? Watching that was the first thing that jumped into my head. Was that's a wicker plane you've made, and you're praying to it. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Not even trying to fly it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Do you want? Well, first of all, I'll introduce the podcast, I guess. So hey, we're Hear Me Out. We're a podcast on crime, true crime, mystery, conspiracy, any wacky idea that pops into our brain. We'll probably talk about. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. There's a little button or a flash up. There'll be a thing. And then you'll get all cool updates like this. So definitely subscribe.
Cheers, man. I'll introduce myself. I'm Sam, for those of you who haven't heard this before or haven't seen this. And my co-host this evening is Luke.
Cheers to, I mean, what episode are we on now? This is episode 4?
4, man. Yeah, 4. Sometimes we talk about stories. So the things we've done before have been nice stories that have a sort of a beginning, a middle, and an end, and someone normally dies. But this is another sort of idea that we've been knocking about with at the beginning. It's just discussing theories. And it's not a comfortable listen. You don't tuck yourself in and listen to this as you doze off to sleep. This is a buckle yourself in, find something hard to bite down on. It's gonna hurt, but you're gonna get in it. It's gonna be a debate.
Wow. That was sexy.
Was that intense?
I'm not scared.
Okay,
I'm,
good.
I'm enthralled. I'm excited.
Good. Yeah. So get ready to get inside our minds and come along for the ride. It's always fun.
Right.
You have to be at least this tall to ride. Satisfaction guaranteed every time.
Every time. Every single fucking time there's a satisfaction guaranteed. Mate, let's stop waffling and let's dive in. What is the ancient astronaut theory? Or it's got many names, right?
Yeah. So the ancient astronaut hypothesis, ancient astronaut theory, it's all to do with the concept that we may have been visited in the past by life that didn't originate from here. So whether it's we were influenced by extraterrestrial visitation or they put us on this planet in the first place. You know, there's lots of different tangents to this theory. But basically it's how did we get here? You know, and is it plausible that aliens have also been here?
It's quite a wide. It's a wide story, isn't it? If I was gonna describe it, I'd say wide.
Yeah,
there's a lot of girth to this theory.
Ooh, there's so much
girthy theory.
Yeah, it's so much girth it hurts, man. And we can't cover that all in one episode. So
definitely not.
Apologies to ancient alien theorists. Nerds, we're not going to cover every single point that you may want to
you
hear.
don't have to apologise to anyone. You don't have to apologise to anyone. This is
actually,
our fucking podcast.
Don't. You're goddamn right. This is our podcast. Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
So what I want to do really is, before we get too into it, is to start just talking about what I said in the monologue. How that people who buy into this theory are advocates for religion may having started from extraterrestrial visitation. So across multiple religions, you've got stuff where they say, angels come down from the sky, you know, in blinding flash of light. And, you know, and there's loud noises and they're telling them truths, wisdoms that humanity had never heard before. And, you know, and in some religions, the angels or species come down from space in crafts, in chariots that are ablaze on fire. And, it makes you wonder though, is this the language of a civilization that doesn't quite understand what it's seeing? Just like the indigenous tribes in the Pacific Ocean, which was only
that's crazy. By the way,
70 years ago, man. Yeah, so 70 years ago.
There's a tribe, right, that worships. Is it Prince Charles? They just carry a picture around of him because he visited once and they'd never seen a white man, and they were like, "It's got to be a god." That's what we do, isn't it? Or not, you know, not you or I, but that's what the general population or consensus has been. If there's a gap, fucking plug it with some religion, because you don't know the answer.
Yeah, if you don't know the answer, and even early scientists used to plug their theories with God. You know, so they'd be writing papers. So physicists would be writing papers, doing all the maths, getting towards closer to their theory to make it all make sense. But the thing with physics, it has to all make sense or none of it does. And it gets to a point where they go, there's one hurdle that I can't quite get over, and it's not behaving in the same way that I'm trying to explain here. It's fine. God. It's God. Yeah.
I think that sums up exactly how I feel. Like my own personal belief that is nail on the head. It's like that purpose has been stuck there as a placeholder until it can be explained a bit better, which, you know, we're not there with it yet. But that's what we've been doing for hundreds, thousands of years, is just sticking the word God in the blank to fill it for now, and maybe we'll come back and revisit it.
Absolutely. Before science, God was kind of all they had, and it was kind of a science in itself. They used to theorize gods, and that's why you have multiple different religions, different arms and legs, all to the same, basically saying the same thing, where humans wanted to do harvests, and if the sun didn't come up, it wasn't a very good harvest, so they all worshipped the sun. It was a god.
But I guess I guess that's why everyone can't agree. If there was one factual story, there would be no disagreement. But because it's kind of all up in the air, that's why a conversation like today can even fucking take place. Because the fact that this story can even happen, and you have to go, maybe it's true, because you can't go any other way. You've got to go.
It's either true or it's not. Yeah. So people believe in religion, and like you say, religion has kind of been a stopgap, or the first thing that humans have really thought to try and explain their surroundings, explain what they're seeing for millennia. And there's people who believe in Adam and Eve. So like creationism. So that's the Christian faith. And it's not, I can kind of see where they're coming from in a way, right? And I can kind of see where there's an opportunity for this story to exist. You've got hominids, hominins. You've got hominins. Yeah, you've got early hominins, like dating back like 7 million years. And that's basically, we are upright. We have a face, 2 eyes, hands, and we're doing shit, running around the grass looking for grubs. And you got the first humans like 3 million years ago. And then you've got like Homo sapiens, which is kind of what we are. And that was, they came about like 200,000 years ago.
Yeah.
But the first civilization, the oldest civilization that we can find on this planet dates back to 5,000 years ago. And it is the Sumerian civilization out in the old Mesopotamia, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mesopotamia.
Super old anyway, but only 5,000 years old. So that kind of means that there's a lot of blanks. There's
a ton of fucking blanks to fill.
Mate, you've got humans. Let's say you go from Homo sapiens. Let's go from, I don't know, the first humans, the first early humans. Yeah, 3 million years ago. Does that mean that for 2,997,000 years, humans have just been throwing rocks at their own shadows, scrabbling around for little grubs, eating mud, right? And then in the last 3,000 years of humans existing, we have just exponentially evolved to the point where we're exploring the solar system, understanding the universe that we live in, driving a Prius, doing shit that our ancestors couldn't have even fathomed,
Yeah. And like you said, it's exponential. That's like the key word in this is like, it's grown so quickly for the duration that like you said, people have been about, or civilization has been about. The growth has been fairly exponential.
Absolutely. And so one of the theories for the ancient astronaut hypothesis is that something happened. There was visitation from another planet, galaxy. Yeah. And these people, these beings influenced us and taught us things, changed our ways so that we could then all of a sudden evolve right off the scale. And one of them is obviously that they influenced us through texts and teachings and what we say in religion. Another one is that they mated with us, made their
I like that one.
Yeah, they made their super brains and our rubbish muck-eating brains.
Fuck your knowledge into me.
Fuck your knowledge into me.
Do you like that?
I love
That's
it.
going on a t-shirt.
I love
it. If
it.
anyone ever wants to buy a t-shirt, it's going to say, fuck your knowledge into me. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Fuck knows.
I like it.
Yeah. So that's just one of their interesting theories. So I can see kind of, I don't think we really have an explanation for the massive growth in evolution we have done in the past 3,000 years on the scale of human existence. I'm sure scientists ponder it, but it's not something there's certainly not a common answer or decision on that. Another thing is what we had around that time is that all over the world, when civilizations started, they were building temples to worship their gods. That's something that's true of a lot of civilizations that would have never have come into communication with each other, never have met, And they're all like pyramid shape, you know, they're all kind of like, you imagine like the Aztec sort of temple, like the Mayans, you know, you've got these all over the world. You've got these in Thailand, you've got the pyramids in Egypt, 5,000 years old. And you've got, they all look the same. Do
you think aliens came down and went, has to be this shape?
Mate, that's what that's what they think. They think that humans were basically just a bunch of idiot shit eaters,
cave dwellers.
Yeah, cave dwellers. Yeah, up to a certain point, aliens came down and said, "Right, I'm going to fuck my knowledge into you. Yeah, now you're going to do what I say. We need
build this triangle.
We have travelled across the galaxy, many galaxies for many light years to get here, and what we need you to do is build little stone structures. Yeah, all looking the same." Which obviously I am taking the piss, but it is still interesting as to how and why these civilizations did all the same thing within the same sort of time period.
Yeah, and then and they didn't have Google Maps to go and see. Oh, I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what they're building over there.
Absolutely.
So it's weird coincidence, but then the flip side to that is certain shapes and origins come about by necessity. Maybe it was the easiest shape to build and didn't fall down. It's like yet again, and this is where the ancient astronaut theory sort of ties in with the religion thing, like we were saying earlier, is plug in the gap, putting a placeholder that goes, maybe that's it. I mean, I'll be honest, I prefer this theory than religion. By miles.
As far as I'm aware, no one's killing each other over ancient alien theory.
Absolutely.
My ancient alien theory is not superior to your ancient alien theory. So therefore, I am going to wage war against you, kill hundreds of thousands, millions of people over the course of our existence. And ultimately.
At least we'll make some money in the process, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, okay, so question. So we're saying that the ancient alien theory, that they're the origins maybe of like where people started sort of questioning that things came down. Is there any modern day proof? Like, I've heard things of like drawings being found, like depicting certain things, or where does it tie into like having some legs to it?
I don't know even if it does have that many legs, if I'm honest. I mean, a lot of these theories we're discussing are interesting, but just like religion, there is absolutely no proof one way or the other. The Great Pyramid, for example. Let's talk about the Great Pyramid.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that's one of their most famous beliefs, is that aliens were part of building that pyramid. And I can kind of understand why. I mean, for all the things we can do in the world right now, we don't understand yet. There are theories, but nothing proven as to how these relatively simple structures built by primitive civilizations, many thousands of years ago, we don't understand how they were built. We can't prove how they're built. That and that to me is nuts. We can explore space, but we cannot tell you how a structure was built. That's nuts. But some of the facts as well around the construction of the Great Pyramid are a little mind blowing. So, for example, we have deciphered hieroglyphics. We can read old Egyptian, right? And one of the hieroglyphics will teach us that the Great Pyramid took 22 years to build. And I think that's fairly common knowledge. But what it doesn't say is, in order to achieve that, they would have had to have quarried, transported, cut to shape, and placed into place, 1 ton of stone every 5 minutes, day and night, for 22 years.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably do one ton of stone every sort of 7 minutes, I reckon, but 5 minutes,
mate. Yeah,
I'm a 2-ton. That's crazy.
Man. Yeah. And not only that, it's like we say that the theory used to be that it was slaves. That it was all these Jewish slaves who did it. And I think recently that's kind of been debunked. It can't have been, because of the precision work that went into it. So these would have been craftsmen, skilled craftsmen,
at best,
in their thousands, having to do this. And the level of accuracy that went into this, we can determine now that each 4 sides of that pyramid, there's a degree of inaccuracy by an inch. They are perfect in their length and out by an inch
so nuts.
over the whole size of it. And lastly, each of those 4 sides perfectly faces north, south, east, west.
Never eat shredded wheat.
Never eat shredded wheat perfectly on the lines of longitude and latitude. And that was thousands of years before a compass was invented. Yeah.
Sure.
And I've not heard too many theories as to how or why they could have got that. I mean, obviously coincidence, fluke. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can understand why these ancient alien theories, these theorists are grabbing hold of this and going, this is the one, this is the proof.
Yeah. But yet again, placeholder in something that's unknown, right? So like you either say God did it or you say something else did it if you can't understand or if you can't accept that it could have just been thousands of really skilled builders over, you know, it may have taken 22 years to build, but I mean, I have no idea, but like, how long was the planning? Do you know what I mean? Like they could have been planning building those for 300 years. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
And then built them. Yeah. So like,
they could have been, they could be having like baby farms where they're literally building farms of babies who are craftsmen and giving them hammers at the age of 3 and teaching them how to be masters. I mean, I don't think there's evidence of that, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
No, but all of it's more, let's say more plausible. Like we said, like, anything's plausible if it's not been disproved. So like, you know, it's as plausible that there would be aliens. It's as plausible that a fucking God himself would have come down and put the bricks there himself. But like, it's, as humans, we always go like, what's most likely?
Yeah.
And obviously most likely is people just fucking built it themselves with hard work. But I love the thought, and like you said, there's so much unknown there. Like the fact that they all, you know, the latitude, longitude, and the northeast, southwest, like the fact that it all adds up, it does leave you going like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, how is that even a thing?
Yeah, man. And it's, there's a heap of things just like that, just like the pyramids, the ancient astronaut theorists grab hold of, shake and beat you around the head with. You know, Eric von Daniken written the book Chariots of the Gods back in the 70s, I think, and he's been smacking around people with their head with that for decades now. But but talking of religion or aliens, and it's kind of you're alluding to, it's either one or the other, or it's humans. Mm-hmm. I mean, are those the only 3 options? You know, even we can't comprehend or fathom a 4th option. Yeah. And I think comprehension is something that we're really going to get into in this episode. It's really going to be just like the people on that island at the beginning we talked about, could not comprehend these humans that were so different from them, but they weren't human to them. They were gods. It's crazy.
Yeah. If it's outside of your knowledge or outside of your comprehension, and all of us only have a human brain. It's only as smart as we currently are. So any hypothesis or guesses or anything that fucking crawls out of our mouth is purely just based on what our brain currently is allowing us to think of. Like you said, those people that are on the island, their brain didn't know any further than that.
Well, they would have had, I'm sure they would have had a notion of progression and development, you know?
Yeah.
They would have understood that, you know, their ancestors used to build really shit shacks, you know? And now my shack that I've made out of mud and sticks, that's a heap better because we learn and we progress,
Hilton shack.
You know, they would have had an idea of that, but seeing a plane land out of the sky is so far developed that it's beyond their comprehension.
Sure.
And so it's probably quite a good segue into the belief of aliens and UFOs over history. You've got scientists who used to ponder extraterrestrial life, and it was probably beyond their comprehension that that extraterrestrial life could travel to Earth. So you had a scientist called Christian Huygens, who was around in the 17th century. He was a pretty decent physicist for his time.
Top bloke.
Strings to his bow. He invented the pendulum clock, right?
I like pendulum clocks.
He was also the first person to identify rings on Saturn. Yeah. Before that, people just thought they were just splodges of light, but he identified them as rings. And he was a great physicist of his day, right? We are talking the late 1600s, but he was a great physicist of his day. And he's another one of these scientists that had these hypotheses. Lexi. And he would plug the gap often with, that's just God,
Yeah, God.
But he was an excellent physicist of his day. And he wrote a book. And in that book, he'd say that, we know Jupiter has an atmosphere. And Earth has an atmosphere. So if Jupiter's got an atmosphere, it probably has weather. And if it has weather, it may have rain. If it has rain, it probably has oceans. And if it has oceans, any life on that planet would need sailing ships. They would need to get about.
Obviously.
Yeah, they need to get about with sailing ships, right?
Not going to swim, are you?
And to have a sailing ship, you need sails. And to use those sails, you need rope. So his scientific deduction here was that any life on Jupiter would need to have harvested hemp. To make their ropes, to make their sailboats, so they can get about their oceans. But they weren't thinking of how do they get here? Because that was beyond the realms of possibility. We hadn't invented flight even back then. So it was yes, other life may exist, but we're all just on our own little planets doing our own thing.
Mate, that's fucking nuts. And yet again, it just shows what humans do all the time. It's turning around and going like, okay, so we know this about Earth. So then if we apply that to this, and then we add this, and then they've got that, then they must have this. And it's just fucking like, what, so there's a bunch of fucking hemp dealing Saturnites just chilling out in their ships. I know now we think that's ludicrous, but we're still doing it. We still do that exact fucking thing. We go, well, if we know a bit about that, and then we added that.
Well, we talked about World War II earlier, and World War II seemed to be the first part in history where really UFO sightings really took off, and UFO mania.
Roswell.
Yep, it really took off. And it probably for the first time for a lot of people seeing warplanes and the Air Force fly over their heads, was the first time they'd probably seen anything like that in their lives.
Sure.
And it's just a coincidence that these early UFOs that were sighted were all obviously silver in color, probably made of stainless steel and
metal.
Yeah, very shiny metal objects looking just like just like discs, But basically, as soon as we have invented flight, we then project that knowledge onto our theories about life in on other worlds. So yeah, just again, like you say, it's a projection of our own fathomable advancement, I'd say.
But and pulling it back to the ancient alien or ancient astronaut hypothesis. We have been finding shit in archaeological digs and in old tombs. There has been pictures depicted, right, showing what looks to be alien spacecraft or to be modern day human astronauts in these cave drawings.
That
are
the Mayan
hundreds of
cave
thousands
drawings
of years old.
Yeah, that have spaceship hats on, and we're looking at
That's it. We'll put it on the Instagram.
Yeah,
we'll put it on the Instagram for anyone that's just listening on podcast. We're also doing this on YouTube, so to make sense, head over to our Instagram at HMOPOD, and all of the junk that we're talking about today. We'll put up some visual stuff so you can see it too. But yeah, those pictures, man, with the it looks like two people with astronaut helmets on, and it is odd, but like because we know now what astronauts look like, we can go, oh, that's an astronaut. But it's like shapes in the clouds, isn't it? If you see a shark in the cloud, you go, that's a shark. But it's not really a shark. It's just whatever someone else might look at it and go, that's a pencil. Like it's whatever you see, you go, no, it's that thing. And it's crazy, I think.
Yeah, man, definitely. Should we talk about the likelihood of alien visitation? And I say this because in order to buy into these theories, I really need to change my current perception and view of where we are in the universe, when we are in the universe, and just the sheer expanse of it. I tried articulating this the other day, and my thoughts get quite sciencey and intense. And the only way that I was able to really convey it in a way that was able to be understood was when I made it into a metaphor. So
I love Sam metaphors. I love Sammy metaphors.
I do not mean to condescend anyone who's a budding astrophysicist or anyone who just has a basic knowledge of space, but I'm just going to talk as if we're ants on a football pitch, which is the only way I managed to talk about. Okay,
right.
So
lay it on me, brother.
All right, are you ready? Okay, so
yes.
So me and you, buddy, we're ants, right? We know
right.
we live on this football field, right? In a big stadium, and we're tiny little ants, and we've got our own colony, right? And I've lived there. My dad's lived there. His daddy's lived there. My daddy before that has come from there, and we're all just living in our little colony, right? There has never been any proof that other ants exist. We've never seen any, never heard any that sit outside of our group, but we understand that this field that we live in is very, very large. You know, it's a massive stadium, and
we've never reached the side of it.
We've never reached the side of it. Yeah, we can't even see the sides of it. And over years, we have deduced that it is massive. It is a football field. So because it's so big, we've also deduced that there probably are other ants like us in this field because, we're ants. Ants are abundant. There's heaps of us, and why wouldn't there be? Because I'm sure conditions are perfect. We exist. Why wouldn't anyone else? Right. So we think that, okay, there probably are ants in this field. So I'm going to try and find some. I keep on going out on these missions, exploring as far as I can to try and find any sort of evidence of them. And the issue is the field we're in is so big that it would take way longer than my lifetime and way longer than your lifetime and our kids' lifetimes to ever get far enough. I mean, I can see parts of the field that I know I can't get to before I'm dead. But I can see it, and I know there's no ants there, so I know that the other ants must be beyond the point, of where we can even achieve. So we're going to sit and come up with ideas, and we're going to get clever, and we're going to work out how to travel faster and further. But this takes our best ant scientists many, many years to come up with. And in that time, you're also avoiding constant threats from birds pecking at you, being eaten by a little greasy worm, or the big one, the lawnmower man comes along, right? So the lawnmower...
What a prick. I hate the lawnmower man.
And when the lawnmower man comes along, he basically gets that colony of ants and he smashes them to shit like they never fucking existed. Yeah, right? And it's awful. But, one day, another colony of ants will move in and they'll start from the beginning and go again. But they're not very bright and they've got no concept of how big the field is, but they'll get there over time.
Yeah.
So the issue is you've got multiple colonies of ants dotted all over this football field, all going through the same process where they can't
reach each other and they can't get old enough in their civilization to reach each other.
And even if they do get through to the point where they've got the science to travel the vast distance across the football field to find another species of ant, they get there, and the other species of ant that used to be are no longer.
Have gone.
Because the one thing that's bigger than the football field is the time it takes to get there.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's story time with Sam. He'll be putting out his first graphic novel for kids of the age of 7 to 11, published by Penguin. Mate, I really like that analogy. I love it.
Cool. So you're on board. It's not just where we are; it's when we are as well.
Absolutely. But if I'm going to say one thing to it, of that very delicately lovely story that you put, the only thing that I can think of that's outside of that is, yes, if all of these different, so you know, we've taken the analogy there, but if there's tons of different planets or galaxies, and there's certain planets in those galaxies that harbor life, yes, we're saying, you know, even if we could reach them, what's to say that they haven't become extinct? And if they haven't become extinct, we probably would have gone extinct before then, because trying to get to that point where you can spread out into space and start colonizing takes a long time, right?
Based on our experience,
based on our experiences. But I've always thought this, and what's to say that these alien, if there is an alien life form, let's say, living on a planet in the fucking Arsene galaxy of nowhere, if there's a little alien colony living there, they might have different materials. So they might not be older than us, or they might have been around for the same time, but the materials on their planet allow them to travel further. Maybe they started exploring space before they started really exploring their own planet. Who's to say that they did the same things or had the same thought patterns as we do? So that's the thing where I go okay, that does make sense, the ant story, but there are obviously a lot of other bits to it where you go and that's what maybe allows us, if we have been visited by aliens, for that to be true. But
I guess,
do you know what's fucking frustrating? If aliens have visited this planet, why not just fucking pop in for a coffee? Just come in, have a coffee. You can stay over at mine.
What's their agenda?
We'll have a sleepover.
What's their agenda, man? Yeah, why are they here?
Well, it isn't to be mates, because they're not. And I'm actually, as I'm talking about it, I'm getting quite pissed off that they haven't come and said hi.
Yeah. Okay. The thing that pisses me off as well, really bugs me about these aliens. Okay, so you've got very sophisticated aliens with knowledge beyond our comprehension. They have been able, as far as we can tell, to bend the fabric of space and time, poke a hole in it, travel through it, and get here, get across these distances faster than space time
than they can
allows.
die, faster than they die.
Yeah. And they can get it. So say they're super advanced. Let's also suggest that if there is other life, and they are this advanced, there's also loads of other life in the universe at different stages. You know, there might be dinosaurs on one, there might be fucking bacteria on another, there might be fucking super brain aliens with wizard ships.
Megamind.
Yeah. And everything in between. But if we're going out looking for intelligent life, we say other intelligent life.
Yeah.
We are assuming that on the scale of things, we are intelligent life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's pretty presumptuous, because if
I'm well intelligent life.
We're scrabbling around sending radio signals into space, hoping for a response. And we're hoping to find a species that is able to traverse the expanse of the universe, assuming that they'll also be using long wave radio. It seems a little primitive and presumptuous. If you think, here's a good anecdote. If you think that a chimpanzee, the DNA makeup of a chimpanzee is 1% different to that of a human. Yeah, we're very alike. But the most intelligent chimpanzee in the world is probably on par with a 2-year-old human, a toddler. Yeah. So those super chimps that can stack things up and put
they're my favorite
things
ones.
in holes and paint pictures and
I
shit.
like them ones.
Yeah. They're basically as intelligent as a 2-year-old. So if we're imagining another civilization, another species in the universe that may travel as far as we are, they're doing stuff that's so advanced. Let's imagine that they've got different DNA to us. Let's imagine that their DNA makeup, or whatever it is that makes them up, is only 1% different to our DNA makeup, but the other way, it means that people like Stephen Hawking would be equivalent to their toddlers. So would they even give us the time of day? Would we even be of interest to them? If they are able to do this and they're that much more advanced than us, would they even want to be bothered? Your cats, for example, your 2 very nice big boy cats.
They are nice.
They have a comprehension of intelligence amongst themselves. So cats and other animals will try and outsmart each other all the time. They'll try and get the upper hand over one and try and get food off the other. So they've got some sort of comprehension of who's smart, who's not. Monkeys definitely
they're intelligent.
do.
They're intelligent within themselves.
Absolutely, But they cannot comprehend how much more intelligent you are than they are.
And they can't do my taxes.
So even us trying to imagine how intelligent a species would need to be in order to bend the fabric of space and time to get here to study us, that's such a narrow-minded view. Even if it's as wide as our imagination can take us, it's beyond comprehension.
And then to think that we've captured them and they're living in a bunker in Area 51 is a stretch even further than that. Because you're like, you've traveled, you've traversed space, you've gone through a wormhole, right? You've got into US airspace and you've been fucking shot down by a primitive jet. Like, you fucking idiots. But look, mate, I'm taking on board everything you're saying. I just want to take a second and I want to pull this back in. I want to pull the narrative back in, the ancient astronaut theory. Obviously, what we've just talked about is super useful. You need to get into, if you're gonna understand this, or if you're gonna buy into it, you need to go, aliens exist. First and foremost, that's you need to accept that might be the case. But what I like about the story is not that they just exist, is that there's the potential that they came here, or maybe they didn't come here, because the theory, I guess, is that they either came here and seeded life, so they willingly brought samples here and started life in place of what people would call a god. They are the god. They take that position. Or they brought the seeds of life and just let them do whatever they were going to do. I find alien come. They fucking. There we go. Right, it's on the Earth. Go, my pretties, fly. I don't know if anyone's seen the film Prometheus, but and I'm sure loads of people have. I think it's a pretty good film. It's a little long, but that sums up this. That is what this is about, right? The alien astronaut hypothesis is like in Prometheus. There's a big blue guy at the beginning. He goes onto the planet. He gets that jar of black shit. He drinks it. He falls into the water and he disintegrates, and that's the DNA that then kickstarts life on that planet. And that was their way of looking at it, is that's how their narrative went. But that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
That exact thing is.
That brings me on really nicely to my next point. Like, where did life come from, like, on this planet? I mean, because if it's from this planet, if it started in this planet, it's not starting anymore. So either we think that there were conditions just right for 2 little things that weren't alive, to rub up against each other whilst they're in a perfectly warm pool of volcano juice, right, would suddenly make things that aren't alive turn to being alive, right?
Right.
Whenever that happened in our history on this planet,
where did you get your PhD from again? rubbed in volcano juice. Sorry to fucking stop that. That's brilliant.
I mean, I was gonna
volcano juice. Two little cells rubbing together. Right. Sorry. Carry on.
I mean, I've got a PhD. Don't worry about it.
I know you do.
Fuck me. What was I talking about?
Right. So there's two little things in a pool of volcano juice. They're rubbing together, and what you're saying is that when life started at the very beginning, if we accept that life on this planet started, millions of years ago, why is life no longer accelerating, and why is not
accelerating? Why is it not starting? Why is there on this planet no evidence of the process that takes two things or one thing that isn't alive and makes it now alive? Yeah.
I get.
So that process doesn't exist anymore, and all we have is theories as to how that started. But I like one of the theories that we were. You just alluded to in Prometheus. We were deliberately inseminated with life from species from another planet, or space debris. We know that some organisms can survive in the vacuum of space. Yeah, we can. Do you know what they're called? They're called little.
Tardigrades.
Those little bears.
Tardigrades, the little water bears.
Little water bears, yeah. And they found them like on like the windows of the International Space Station and stuff like that, yeah. So we know
those fuckers are resilient.
Yeah, like they can go through like radiation, space, and they're fine, right?
If reincarnation exists, I'll be one of them.
We've also found on this planet quite frequently is rocks that we believe to be from the surface of Mars. Yeah, which would have got here through Mars receiving impacts from
an
absolute pummeling in space, by other celestial bodies, and the break-off floats in space for fuck knows how long, and then ultimately lands on Earth because we're the closest one to it, maybe, I don't know, but space debris is being shot around all the fucking time, and occasionally it lands on shit. If you put the two together, that organisms can survive in the vacuum of space and shit lands on shit, it's not against the realms of possibility that we actually were inseminated by accident, by fluke, from life that used to exist on another planet.
I think I'm on board with that. Although I don't firmly believe in aliens. I don't firmly not believe in aliens. It's one of those things where I'm a proof man, But you're right. Like, I believe that way more. Like, we are. I honestly think that we are just stardust. Like, that's shit like that happened. Rocks exploded, meteorite collisions, and the right components for life, the right chemical composition for life. It arrived here. And then the conditions here gradually got habitable for that life to get a kickstart, to get a jump start and get formed. I do believe we're from space. I don't believe that we were brought here in a little briefcase and just fucking go my pretties, go, you're free now. Like, go, have fun.
Spunked out of an alien cock.
I mean, if you're an alien and you travel to a faraway distant land, you're probably going to have a wank when you get there. But
Mate,
I don't know what to say. Are you?
It's like the guys in the Navy, I guess. They've been knocked up on a ship for fucking God knows how many light years with all their mates and colleagues, First thing you got to do, get a bit of privacy on this new planet.
Have a tug.
Absolutely.
Right. Good. Well, I'm glad we've covered alien cum. That's good. When I woke up this morning, I knew that we fucking had this coming up, and it's always a treat and a pleasure to see your face. But I always know that I'm going to talk about some fucking weird thing. Did not know it was going to be alien cum. I just didn't. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome, man. Let's take it on to the final little. No, let's start again.
Countdown.
I'll cut this. Okay, man. I think it's time to summarize. So let's introduce, on episodes like this, where we're talking about theories, let's introduce what I like to call the bullshitometer. It's basically how believable something is or isn't. So bullshit scale on a big, fat, dumpy steamer
Is that the top end? Big steamer, Cleveland steamer.
I don't know. We need to define this, don't we? Okay.
Right. I'm going to go Cleveland steamer is the top. That's like the biggest bullshit.
Because that's on your chest, isn't it? That's what a Cleveland steamer is. It's when the shit is on your chest. So. Okay. That is a lot of bullshit. Okay. So you're right. So that's at the top. Yeah. The bullshit scale goes from the Cleveland steamer to
mouse poo
to a 1. Okay, let's do it so the audience can understand. So it's not just complete nonsense.
Perfect.
It's 1 is dead believable. Yeah. In fact, it's probable. Right. And you go through all the numbers to get to 9. And then once you get to 10, you don't say 10, you say, oh, that's a Cleveland steamer.
Perfect. All right, I'm in.
All right, cool. Right. So let's say the theory that existing humans on this planet have been visited and influenced by extraterrestrial life.
I'm gonna go like a 4 because I really don't know, and like put it this way, I want to fucking believe that that's the truth.
Yeah,
because that would be fucking rad. Other some little wispy head white man sitting on a cloud going thunderbolt, thunderbolt. I really would rather believe that an alien came down and just fucking inseminated the earth. So I'm going for a 4
cool.
because I'm not fully bought in.
I'm going to go with like a 4 or 5 as well. I think that
copycat.
No, I want to believe. I do believe in life in this universe. I think it's
nerd.
I think it's improbable that it would ever get here. But for me, it's 50-50, buddy. Yeah, it could have happened. Might not have. Right. Aliens built the pyramids.
Cleveland steamer.
Cleveland fucking steamer.
The biggest fucking Cleveland steamer you've ever seen.
And I think although the pyramids have some really interesting facts about them, like how the fuck do they get them pointing north, etc. Yeah, and it's nuts, and we can't explain it. Yeah, but I would question the agenda of a species that have traveled through light years to get here to go, all right, and we're going to help you build some fucking bricks out of stuff to make a pointy house.
Absolutely.
We're going to make you the biggest pointy house on the planet.
You want a pointy house? We got one for you. Right, here's the plans.
I don't understand what their motivation would be.
No, and also I'm the biggest fucking advocate to just stop putting fucking placeholders because you don't know the answer. Like, I mean, I'm sure we'll do a separate one on religion and blah, 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 and our thoughts and our views. But like, it's, I know, but
get the gloves off of that one.
It's that shit that I think genuinely regresses us as humans, is going like, rather than just going, do you know what? We don't fucking know. Like, rather than just standing up and just going, it's okay to not fucking know. It really is okay because we're going the right way. We're moving the right direction. Maybe one day we'll figure it out. That's fucking exciting. Rather than going, excuse me? Yeah, I've got the answer. And the answer is aliens come down and told us how to build the pyramids. Or there's a God, he lives in the clouds. There's a heaven, there's a hell. I just think that like, until you fucking assertively know with a degree of, there is no degree of uncertainty. It's like, no, that's what we know. And we're going to confidently put that in place for now until we get a better theory.
That's what science is. The discipline of science is to be able to test something to the point where that thing happens every time we try it. Yeah.
But it tries to prove itself wrong. That's what I love about science is it doesn't go, this is the answer you're looking for. Let's put this in. It goes, this is the answer that we've unanimously found across the board. We're going to shove that in as the placeholder. And if in the future we find evidence for anything else, we'll fucking revisit it and say that we were wrong. But like, I don't like, and again, with this theory, with the aliens building the fucking thing, all right, it's fine to talk about it. But that's why I think it's Cleveland steamer. And sorry to get off on a tangent on it, but like I had to get that across, that I genuinely feel like these placeholders that people put in regress our fucking society. And if it makes you feel better in your heart, fantastic. But don't make it fucking commonplace.
Absolutely, dude. Mate. Yeah, good rant. I mean, we will have a episode about religion, and the gloves will be coming off of that one, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, I respect it. I respect everyone and their viewpoints. I definitely do. And I don't think that people shouldn't be allowed to
don't. I think the Pope's been fingering kids for hundreds of years in the name of believing in some dude who sits on a cloud. I mean, that's fucked.
Yes. Okay.
Anyway.
Right. Back to the bullshit scale?
Yeah, back to the bullshit scale. We got
okay.
Life originated somewhere else.
I mean, I'm going to go 1, but I'm going 1 because I don't necessarily think that life originated somewhere else and was brought here on purpose. I believe that...
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that...
Okay, you're saying that life
Earth,
as a living organism itself came here.
Earth was
one way or
sterile, yeah, and it was pollinated either deliberately from an alien species spunking through the galaxy, or accidentally through tiny little organisms on the back of a asteroid explosion.
Do you know what? I'm going to go, okay, then thank you for clarifying. I'm going to go 3. And the reason I'm going to go 3 is because there's a thing called directed panspermia, which is like it's the notion that you transport, we've been saying it since like the 1930s. There was a dude called Olaf Stapledon who wrote a book called, was it Last and First Men? And that was in the 1930s. And that said about the Earth getting some sort of catastrophic, like a fucking asteroid smashing into it. And that we were going to take microorganisms and send them out to habitable parts of space in the hope that the human race would continue. I mean, if we've been talking about that, and like we said, we're probably not that advanced. We think we are, but that's only because that's our standard. If we're talking about that and chucking fucking organisms into space, if there is a society, not society, could be a society. If there is a planet out there that has a civilization on it that's further along than us, then sure, I think it's possible they could have talked about that too. Like we need to get our DNA out there so that this isn't it.
I don't care if this is it though. Like, why am I going to, me personally, going to spend my life's work trying to make sure that in millions of years' time, this can happen again? Because life's fucking shit, man.
Wow. This got dark real quick. People like that though, don't they? They like the thought that this won't be, again, it comes back to the, not heaven and hell, but like that no one wants to think that this is it. And if something catastrophic does happen, a lot of people don't want it just to end.
Yeah,
I'm selfish. I couldn't give a fuck.
I couldn't give a fuck either. And I like the thought of it ending. I like the fact that we're all here. It's an accident. Yeah. I'm sure lots of accidents happen all over the universe, but we're an accident. Yeah. There's no reason. There's no rhyme. I find comfort in that. And I find comfort in the fact that this is all going to end and no one's even going to fucking remember. That's sweet.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Final one.
Back to the bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit-ometer.
Aliens exist. And what I mean by that is...
Oh, fuck, I've answered now.
Yeah, you have to... Yeah, what I mean by that is... so I'm not talking about life. I'm talking about the pop culture view of an alien. So I'm saying a species...
Big, grey little long-fingered pokey bum man. I'm not saying a grey
long-finger pokey bum man. I'm saying... Is that what they use their grey fingers for? Ouch, E.D., finger bum hole.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Why not? Sure.
Aliens exist is life as intelligent as we are, or more so?
Again, I think I'm going to stick with 1, and purely for the reason is I've got no reason to believe that there isn't. Other than the fact that there's not aliens fucking popping up left, right, and center and going, "Hi, we do exist." The way I look at it, but going back to your metaphors and trying to explain things, the way I look at it is that we've literally just tried to search for life in our own back garden. Like we've literally gone out of our porch, out into the back garden, and we've gone, nah, don't see anything here. So therefore, that means that there's nothing past that. And like,
but also, what are we searching? What are we searching with? Like, literally, we're sending out radio signals, long wave radio
That's what
signals. I mean, it's not just it's like looking in your own back garden, for proof of other humans, But like
at night while you're blind,
at night, and also you're blind
and deaf,
Yeah, that's it.
And you've got to try and find an ant living in your back garden, and that's and you got a big back garden, not like me.
You got a big back garden,
mansion.
and you got a missus giving you grief about it because you haven't mowed the lawn in ages as well, and
she's going, "Oi, get out there, moan it."
I can't. I've got to replace the fucking flex on it. I ran it over. This is not a real. This isn't a real.
Right,
this isn't a real story.
I'm going to pull it back in now. Right. So I'm going to stick with one for the reason I just said. I genuinely think that we've like, how could I sit here and say that aliens don't exist or more intelligent life forms don't exist? Because that is literally like walking into your back garden at night and going, I can't see anything, so therefore no. That is somewhat contradicting because I do believe in evidence and proof. To a certain degree, I believe you've got to get to a point where you go, all right, well, we've, unanimously amongst the board, we've kind of proved that. We'll come back to it if it changes. But man, I fucking hope there is.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, for a start, we don't know what the universe is. It's constantly moving. We've got no idea what it is. And until we know what the fuck we're dealing with, how can we say that there's nothing else out there?
Yeah, man. And I think that I feel exactly the same. Yeah. I believe in evidence and proof, but I believe we've got enough evidence and proof of the sheer scale of the universe that we live in to be able to say the laws of probability dictate that there probably is. And I would love to believe there is, mainly because I don't believe that the human race on this planet deserves to be the only one.
No, other people should have to put up with COVID too.
Yeah, no, I meant the other way around. We're fucking idiots. We're idiots. Look at us right now, Friday night, drinking whiskeys, making podcasts, chatting shit.
You drinking whiskey?
Yeah.
This is apple juice. You said to me before we started, get a tumbler of apple juice so we look cool. Oh, that's what you meant.
There we go, guys. I told you it was going to be a crazy ride. You put your money in, and that's what you get out. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to subscribe on the YouTube channel and whatever podcast platform you might be listening on.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, we do this as a YouTube series as well as a podcast. So if you go to www.hmopod.com, all the links to all our social medias are there, as well as everywhere you can listen and watch us. And we'll carry on putting up fucking ridiculous content and saying whatever the fuck we want.
E.T. finger bum hole.
Big!
Grease yourself up.
Go. I've had a whiskey. I've had a whiskey.
I've had a whiskey.